And my first near-death experience happened after my third child was born. And that child happened to also be born during an earthquake. And it was one of those moments in my life when I thought I was going to die because my labor actually stopped. And as I'm lying on that table, I feel like I'm just falling, like you're jumping out of an airplane. And the nurse had a really hard time getting the IV in because I was already in shock. And so the veins collapsed. So it was really hard to put an IV in. And the nurse on my right was quoting my blood pressure, and she yells out, 50/15, hurry. So that was my blood pressure. So it was below supporting a heartbeat at this point. And it was at that moment, shortly after that, that I knew I was dying. And I could feel my soul starting to separate from my body, and I could feel it just pulling out. And I was just holding on for my life. And I was a complete atheist. I didn't believe in religion. I didn't believe in anything, that you could survive death or the spirit world. I prayed to God to save my life. And I said, I have 3 children under the age of 6. They need a mother. And as soon as I had said that prayer, I got pulled out of my body. And I found myself floating above my body, maybe 3 or 5 feet out. But when I was outside, there was also this knowing of the unconditional love and peace. And there was no time on the other side because I had access to past, present, and future all at the same time. There was no time, as if time only exists when we're in this physical plane, but because we have to have some kind of timeline. But on the other side, outside the body, there was no time. And I knew also that I belonged to that body on the table. And people have asked, did you leave through the crown chakra or the heart chakra? It happens too quickly. I have no idea, because one split second I'm inside the body and the next second I'm outside. And it's like an instantaneous transfer of the soul. It just splits apart. But I knew that I belonged to that body and that was my body. It was like as if it's my car or my house, like you belong to that. And your soul belongs in that body for this life journey. And then I got sucked back into my body. So then my second ND happened through this whole struggle of being sick. But this time it was in the middle of the night. And I woke up and again felt like, oh no, the soul is trying to leave again. And I can't, I got to hold on to it. And I would take my head off the pillow and, try to get more blood in my head. But it was the same thing happened as the first time, where the soul just gets sucked out of the body. So I'm tumbling through darkness and I end up at this place that I call the mid station, because if you go into a skyscraper and there are 100 floors and you push the elevator button on the 50th floor, then you're going to go off on the 50th floor, but there are floors above you and there are floors below you. So, and it was that feeling that I knew there were levels below me and levels above me. But I end up that's why I call it the mid station. But I get to this place and I'm just in spirit form. I don't have a body. And I hear the most beautiful music. But this beautiful music, you can't make this music on Earth, because I tried for days. We had a big Roland synthesizer, and I tried every single sound if I could find anything that sounded like that beautiful music that I had heard. But I couldn't find any sound that would match it. And so I'm wondering where this music is coming from. And I look to my right and I see a little wooden cabin. And I open the door to look inside, but it's empty. So then I turn to the left and I say, well, maybe the music is coming from over there. And I see an exact copy of what I saw on the right-hand side, another log cabin. It's like a mirror image. And I open the door, I look inside, but it's empty. But then I become aware of this growing white, bright light. But this bright white light, it's like the brightest, whitest light you have ever seen. Like a car dealership spotlight, but it's shining kind of through a fog at the same time, because the light fills everything that you can see, or everything around you as far as you can see. It's this bright light. But in the bright light, there is an outline of angels. and the music is coming from the angels. But I didn't believe in angels. So here I am. I'm still struggling to put my first near-death experience into perspective. And I'm still struggling with, how could that be? How could I leave my body? How can I be outside my body? For 2 years, this has been going on. And here I am hearing the most beautiful music, but it's coming from angels in this bright white light. But this bright white light is divine source. It is whatever you want to call it, divine source, God, or whoever your God is. It is the divine source. It's the light that we come from. It is pure unconditional love, and we carry this light within us, and we return to that light when we leave this physical realm. And so that is the most beautiful experience you can imagine, that because it's just pure unconditional love, but we are part of this light. And then I became aware of 2 spirit guides, and there's one spirit guide on my right and one spirit guide on my left. And the spirit guide on the right says to the other spirit guide, "What is she doing here? She can't be here. She has to go back." And I said, no, wait a second. How can I be outside my body and still be me? How does this work? Because I've been struggling for 2 years, and here I am again. And how does this work? This is not supposed to happen. Because I was very scientific, and if I couldn't prove it or see it, or as far as I was concerned, it didn't exist. So the spirit guide on the left says, well, if we told you, you wouldn't remember, but you will remember this. And then it's almost like a movie screen sort of appears. And because it just appears out of nowhere, all of a sudden you just see things. And it was as if I was standing on the moon looking down on the earth. But around the earth, there was what I call the silvery, glittery fishnet, because it was this diamond-shaped grid around the earth. And so then the spirit guide says, everything on earth is connected to each other. And everything on earth is connected up to that silvery, glittery fishnet. And with that information, I got sent back to earth. And that is what has stayed with me all these years, all these 2 experiences. We definitely come back. I think we, to a certain extent, we incarnate to have a certain life or have certain things that we are to experience in this life, because a lot of the things that are happens to us during our life is in our astrological chart. So if you look at your astrological chart, you can see all the main points. Oh, that's when you get married. That's when you get divorced. That's when people died in your family. It's all in your astrological chart. So how could that all be in your chart if it wasn't part of it was predetermined, right? So I think there's certain aspects of our life, maybe the big things, who we're going to meet in the life, or what we're going to do with life. I think that is to a certain extent predetermined. And then we reincarnate. So then we come here and we do all the things in this life, and then we come back and we have another life. And there has been a lot of studies on reincarnation. Ian Stevenson did a lot of studies probably 40, 50 years ago now. And I know Netflix put out documentaries on people that have remembered, children that remember their past lives, and in very detailed who they were. And they made documentaries about these kids. So we know that people have memories from their past lives, and that we reincarnate. It's just we come into this body, we don't remember anything, because it's like they wipe it all out. And so we come in with a fresh slate. Oh, I'm just me in this life. And we don't remember anything from the past lives, and unless, some people do. And then we, for each life, we learn new things. So I always joke, I'm going to try and get as many things right in this life so I don't have to do them again in the next life, right? Because whatever I don't learn in this life, it's just going to come back and I'm going to have to do it again. So that's how I feel, because we know that with all the people and the research that has been done, we know that people have many lives, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to tell in detail. There's so many stories around the world where people, I think it's Israel, where people know that everybody reincarnated, and around the age of 3, they know that their children, if they're going to remember something, they will talk about it around that age, and then they get older, maybe 5, 6, they forget about it.
أنا أديب. أنا האיש שהיה בגלגול שעבר נוהד, ואני שירתי במשמר גבול, ונפטרתי בלבנון, בסור.
זה התחיל בערך כשהוא היה בערך בגיל 3, בן 3. היה מבטא שמות בצורה נכונה, ואז כל הזמן הוא רצה כביכול לפגוש עז.
הם לא ידעו מי זה העז, הם חשבו שהעז זה השכן שלנו, שקוראים לו אבו לעז.
אז כשבאה אחותה של נבילה אלינו וסיפרנו את המקרה הזה, וידענו שהיה אירוע בחודש נובמבר והבן שלי נולד בחודש נובמבר, אז היא הבטיחה לבדוק את זה אצל המשפחה של נוהד אבורוק, זכרונו לברכה, שנהרג, והבן שלו במקרה קוראים לו גם עז.
כשהייתי בן 3, אמרתי להורים שלי שאני רוצה את העז הבן שלי. באנו משפרעם לצפייה, ואני והאמא שלי והדודה שלי הלכנו ברגל בבית שלי שהיה.
אני חושבת שהלכנו ביחד. הוא רצה שהוא יראה לי איפה הבית של רונט. הוא בא הביתה, נכנס לי כאן, כאילו זה הבית שלו. הוא הכיר את המקום, למרות שזה היה לא שלו, אבל הוא הכיר את זה פה. אז גרו אנשים אחרים. הוא התחיל לשאול איפה הדברים האישיים שלו, איפה המדים, הוא התחיל לחפש, אשתו הייתה פה, גם השכנים פה, אנשים, הוא רצה להראות.
יום אחד אני יושב פה, נכנסו אליי אדיב, שהיה ילד קטן, יושב בגיל 3, 3.5, אבא שלו ואמא שלו. הוא איכשהו נכנס, אמר להם זה נזי. ישבנו פה כמה אנשים וזה, הוא זכר אותי ואמר זה נזי. נוהד, היינו, אנחנו באותו גיל כמעט, הוא קצת מבוגר ממני והוא בן דוד שלי. והיחסים בינינו היו הדוקים.
הטיולים אני נזכר בהם, כשהלכנו לטבריה וישנו על הדשא.
על הדשא, על החוף.
שאל את רונית בפגישה הראשונה אם היא זוכרת אותו.
זאת רונית. זאת האישה שלי שהייתה בגלגול הקודם.
אנשים חשבו שכן נוהד חוזר, לא ידעו שזה ילד קטן שהוא אומר שהוא נוהד, שהוא בא, הנה זה הבית שלי, וזה הדברים האישיים שלי, זאת אשתי, זה הבן שלי, והוא החזיק ביד שלו ולא נתן לו ללכת. אז התחילו אנשים פה להגיד לו זה לא עז, זה עז, על ילד אחר, להצביע על ילד אחר. הוא לא נתן לאף אחד לשכנע אותו, לי אפילו. אמא, אל תאמיני להם, זה הבן שלי, זה הילד שלי, זה שלי, זה עז שלי, ואני מכיר אותו טוב. הוא לא נתן לאף אחד לעבוד עליו או לרמות אותו.
זה הבן שלי, עז.
אני מרגיש זה אבא, ואני מאמין בגלגול נשמות. וככה אלוהים אמר.
בשיחה עם עתיד אני מאוד התרשמתי מזה שמדובר בילד רגיל, ילד בן 12 שיש לו את התחביבים שלו, את הספורט, את הבית ספר, את החברים, החברות גם שמעתי. כך שמדובר בילד שמציאותי מאוד, שחי את ההווה שלו. השתכנעתי לחלוטין שלא מדובר בפנטזיות או בדמיון שלו לגבי כל הסיפור הזה על הגלגול שלו, אלא שמדובר בזיכרונות אמיתיים.
אני צריך לזכור שהייתי גדול, עכשיו אני קטן, ויש לי בן. זה משהו
But they remember things, and so when the whole community is tuned into that, they will ask that child and say, hey, what do you remember? Oh, you're talking about this, you're talking about that. And I remember one case, there was a 3-year-old who kept saying, I was murdered in my past life. And they kept saying, okay, well, where did it happen? Oh, it was over there in the park. And the child showed them where he had been murdered in the past life. And they found the body. It was an unsolved murder. And they found the body, and they found a murder weapon, and which led to the arrest of the person.